Let's make some noise. Come on.
Right, indeed, you are, Nick Foles. Let's indeed make some noise. Welcome back to the final episode of our broadcast week of The Final Word with MattyB here on the It's a Rap Sports Network, which, of course, your boy MattyB on the call. And boy, oh boy, Kyle Schwarber, man, breaks himself out and the Phillies out of a season-defining slump. Let's call it what it was. And hits 4 home runs, ties Major League Baseball single game record with 4. First Philly to hit 4 in a game since Mike Schmidt did it back in 1976 when I was 3. Phillies hit 7 home runs tonight in total, tying a team record. And they go off and just have their way with the Atlanta Braves, or should I call them, the Richmond Braves, for God's sakes. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on. Actually, they're the they got the Stripers. That's their the Gwyneth Stripers. That's right, the Gwyneth Stripers. That is their AAA team. So I don't know what's going on in hot Atlanta, but that team is definitely nowhere near the way it needs to be. As Phillies roll over the Braves 19-5 or 19-4 tonight, breaking out of the 3-game losing streak, erasing the memories of the Mets series. Not really, but hopefully getting this thing back on track. And yeah, I won't accept anything but a sweep of the Braves. The Phillies need it bad. And they get some help too. So big time win for the Phillies tonight. We'll talk about that. We'll continue that conversation that was started so elegantly on the Fighting's Final by Michael Aro. We got some football to talk about. College football is really kind of kicking it in full swing starting tonight, week 1. I don't know if you're a big fan of the week 0, week 1 thing. Well, this is week 1 or week 1B, whatever, however you want to call it. But this is it, man. Every team in this country that's NCAA affiliated and has a football team is going to play by the end of this weekend. So football has finally arrived. We have also arrived officially, I guess, on Dallas week, right? I mean, we're 7 days away from the start of Eagles Cowboys. So is this Dallas week? And ironically, there's some Dallas Cowboy news to get into. Micah Parsons is on his way to Green Bay. And listen, you know my feelings about Howie Roseman. All right, and I ain't going to, this is not a Howie hate show, but thank God Jerry Jones still resides in the NFC East, because as long as that guy's there, Cowboys will never be relevant. Now, was a trade of Micah Parsons imminent? Absolutely. Definitely had to happen. And there was that relationship was not going to last. But I honestly looked when I heard the news today, because I in passing heard it. I didn't hear the details of the trade. I was thinking immediately when I heard it, like, oh no, did the Cowboys just pull off a Herschel Walker type trade to get them back to relevancy, within the next 2 years or 3 years, with getting a buttload of draft picks going to Dallas for Micah Parsons? But lo and behold, that wasn't really what happened. And we'll get into how I think, again, thank God Jerry Jones resides in the NFC, because as long as he's there, the Cowboys will never be a problem, as Parsons is on his way to Green Bay in a very lopsided trade to the Packers. I'll say it as it is. And our regular scheduled segments on the program, your day in Philadelphia sports history, the of the night segment, and of course our card review, all in store for you tonight as we wrap up a week that I was actually able to come on every night that I could. I had post-game obligations last night, so I get a mulligan on that. But the first full week, now I guess I can't really call it a full week until I do 5 shows, but the first full week that I was scheduled to come on the air, and I did, probably since sometime in May. So it's a win for me. So welcome to the program, everybody. And before we get rolling, let's thank some people. Let's thank the hardworking folks over here at the It's a Rap Sports Network, creators of such programs as this one, Props, Locks, and Parlays, our newest creation, featuring Mike Lauro. No pressure sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Will make its premiere on the network next Wednesday night, September the 3rd at 7 p.m. Look forward at the Wednesday at 7 p.m. time slot throughout the football season. I would imagine the football season means the Wednesday before the Super Bowl. It would probably be the last episode of the season. Join Mike as he'll reveal to you his locks, his props, and his parlays of the week, both college and pro. Again, for entertainment purposes only. So make sure you're tuned in every Wednesday at 7. And then also for this program starting next Tuesday at 7. Big week next week, man. Got to get our sleep. Got to get our rest, boys, this weekend. Kyle Quinn will return on the Birds Blast September 6th at 7 p.m. as we'll get Season 6 rolling for the quintessential and Eagle pregame show entertainment. Join me and Kyle for our 6th season together as we cut up the game that was and the game that will be for your Philadelphia Eagles. This week's episode is a special one because it's our NFL Extravaganza special. We will cut up our picks for the 2025 NFL season divisionally, who's going to come in first and last, your wild card teams, your championship game matchups, your Super Bowl matchup, and your Super Bowl winner. All that, and, of course, breaking down Eagles-Cowboys Week 1 at the link. So make sure you're joining us this Tuesday at 7. We will not be on at Tuesdays, though. Tuesday won't be our regular day of the week. Sometime, as the season kind of progresses, you'll see the show sort of fluctuates around the dial. Sometimes it's on Wednesdays, sometimes it's on Thursdays, sometimes it's on Fridays, sometimes it's on Saturdays. So it's a scheduling thing that we got to kind of play with, but we'll get them all in. I promise you that. We've never missed an episode. And even if Kyle doesn't show up, I'll do it solo because, I love the spotlight. But make sure you're tuned in for all that greatness. And then some. We'll get to the rest of the shows as we move through this fine evening. Joe Hale, what's going on, man? What a game to be at. Obviously, we'll get into that here momentarily. Belt to bottom. Yeah, the Phillies spanked the AAA Braves pretty good tonight, man. I got to give props, and I will. It was a hell of a way to break out of a slump. But does tonight's game, does it ease your angst about the playoffs? Does it ease your angst about teams that the Phillies will have to play that are actually going to qualify for the playoffs? I guess we could take it one of two ways. You could be really happy that they won tonight, or it could be a 5-alarm fire if they would have lost. So we'll try to kind of wade in between all that and see where we all come out on by the end of the show. And Star Wars says 5 games up. So I take that the Marlins held on and won tonight. So the Marlins beat the Mets, increasing the Phillies lead back to 5. That's, again, very positive news. Can you open the phone lines? Yeah, I think we will do that tonight, Joe. And Ricky is watching. As always, Ricky, how are you tonight? All right, so let's get her started. Let's get strapped in, strapped on, strapped up. Keep your heads, hands, and feet inside the car at all times. And let's roll with your day in Philadelphia sports history on this day back in 1918. And again, I must make a very bold claim that I was not here to see it. All right. League officials notified the Cleveland Indians they would be without their best player for the remaining 5 games of the season. That's right, folks. The Cleveland Indians lost their best player for the final 5 games of the regular season in 1918. Why does this have anything to do with Philadelphia? Hang on. Cleveland's Tris Speaker was ejected the previous day during an 8-6 win over the Philadelphia Athletics. In Philly, after reportedly assaulting the home plate umpire Tom Connolly during a late game tussle. Though it seems odd like a slap on the wrist, Major League Baseball did not come down as hard on players as they do now. Babe Ruth earned a similar 5-game suspension for punching an umpire in the face in 1917. In 2006, however, Tampa Bay Rays prospect Delman Young received a 50-game suspension for tossing his bat at an umpire internationally during an International League gameplay back in the AAA league. So, as you can tell, not a very sexy day in Philadelphia sports. We had to go to a very obscure fact as it required, in reference to an umpire and a player getting suspended five games for getting involved in a fight that involved somehow the umpire. And then we found out Babe Ruth also got a similar suspension in 1917 for punching an umpire. So 5 games does not seem very heady. Now, again, you can look at it in one of many ways. The generation was a little bit tougher back then. People were a little bit more common sense back then. We can hash it out all you want. But, of course, in this day and age, thankfully, the umpires have a little bit more shield from the league. Can you imagine somebody watching somebody punch an umpire in the face? I mean, Delman Young got 50 games for throwing his bat at an umpire. What would a punch to the face get you in 2025? So There you go. That's your day in Philadelphia sports history. That involves the A's back in 1918. Listen, I can't make stuff happen on days. I mean, I just report what happened. It's what history is. It's I can't change it. It is what it is. So not really much going on this day. August the 20th, was it 28th? So there you go. All right, let's get back into the fun. Mickey Delaney says, "What's up, Matt? Mickey, how are you?" So tonight, the Phillies 19-4 winners. And listen, Kyle Schwarber had himself a night. What he come a cycle away from hitting, or a grand slam away from hitting the cycle of home runs, and then they got him up in the ninth against the position player, or in the eighth against the position player, and he obviously did not follow suit. Wonder though if you would have hit that home run, you get really excited about that. You hit it off of a shortstop or a second baseman, whatever outfielder, whoever that kid was. But I ain't gonna take it away from him, man. Philly scored 19 runs tonight. 12 of the 19 runs were scored via the home run. So 7 runs were scored without the home run. And listen, I'll take that balance. 12-7, I'll take that. That's about as balanced as it can be. I mean, honestly, when you have a power surge like that, it was happening on all cylinders tonight for the Phillies. They beat up on Cal Quantrill, something fierce. But that was after the Braves beat up on Aaron something fierce in the first inning. Now, I know the way the game worked out, and it's absolutely what it's got to be. But that first inning, I mean, were you not feeling a little bit of pressure? I know I heard the pressure coming from my TV. Nola got beat around. 3 runs given up in that first inning. Did not look good. The Phillies still looked asleep. Now, thankfully, they answered it right back with a 5-run bomb of the first, and they were off and running from there. But does this win, as power happy as it was, I think every starter in the lineup got a hit tonight, or every player except for one got a hit. Weston Wilson did not get a hit, I think. But does this ease your mind over what occurred in New York? And I want to be very clear about my take on this. It wasn't the Mets per se. It wasn't Citi Field per se. It was the pressure of what that series was. It was what the Mets fans brought, what the Mets team brought to the games, that playoff-like atmosphere. That's the opponent that I'm talking about. That's the opponent that concerns me heading forward into the playoffs, not the Mets per se and not Citi Field. It's what that game meant and what the vibe around that game was. And it wasn't a playoff series. It sure as hell wasn't in late August, but it definitely had the feel of one. And the Phillies came up very, very small. Now, when they come out the next night and bash 7 home runs, Kyle Schwarber hits 4, and they batter and they knock the Braves and their AAA team around the ballpark, it makes you feel good. And it erases some of the bad memories. And in baseball, it's a game where you move on very, very quickly. But it's still looming out there. And yes, payback with the Mets is coming. An opportunity, I should say, for payback. But as I mentioned, it could be the Dodgers, the Reds, the Padres. It could be any one of these teams. When they come into situations against the Phillies in a high-pressure moment, what am I getting from the Phillies? That's my concern. And that's been my concern since they lost in the World Series in 2022. And what happened last week or last night or over the last 3 days didn't do anything to help me get over that. So very happy they won tonight. Very happy they emphatically won. Very happy they handled their business against a lesser opponent. But back in my mind, I'm still thinking about that. Back in my mind, it's still lurking about where this team might be come October and how they're going to respond to October. Joe Hell says the Boo Birds were out at the bank. I know. I heard him in the first inning, man. I mean, Nola was getting beat around. And listen, Nola settled in and had himself a decent start, but still, the pitch count went way up in that first inning. So, I mean, that was a 36 pitch first inning for him. And even though he settled down, his stuff was still up, way up, honestly, and not for my liking. So, I mean, I'm not gonna like overanalyze Aaron Nola. I mean, he pitched he settled down and he handled himself accordingly, and he guided the Phillies through, those first 4 or 5 innings. But kind of mixed reviews against Aaron Nola tonight. It was sort of drowned out by what Kyle Schwarber did tonight. I think he's up to now 49 home runs. I asked this question last week. Does Kyle Schwarber have an opportunity, or does he have a chance at 60? Does Kyle Schwarber have an opportunity to hit 6 home runs with about 28 games left? And I say he does. 60 home runs, not 6 more. 60. He'd have to hit 11 over the next 28 games. Can he do that? I think he can. I'd be very interested to see where he comes out at the end of the season. But I think 60 is a realistic number that Kyle Schwarber might hit in 2025. And thus locking up, not locking up, but definitely making him a front runner for the MVP, which also is going to cost the Phillies more money, or whoever is going to resign is going to cost them more money, because that cash machine is going to be going off when they call his name for the MVP. But absolutely a very solid game, a very solid bounce back game by the Phillies. The Phillies are not going to win the World Series. Ricky, it's very hard for me to disagree with that based on what I've seen, not just from last night, but from the last 3 or 4 seasons. It's very hard for me to disagree with that. I was talking to the Phillies beat reporter about what happened in the Mets series. And don't leave us in the dark here, Joe, what they say. Oh, and by the way, I didn't forget, so let me do this now. I will open up the phone lines. Here you go for those of you that want to chime in. Remember the rules. Well, there really isn't any rules, but remember that when you do come in, you have to have a way to communicate with me. You don't have to have a camera, but I got to be able to hear you or talk to you. So make sure that you have that enabled on your computer or your phone or wherever it is you're chiming in from, so that we may talk. So the phone lines are open. Come on in. Let's kick it around a little bit and have some fun. So, a side note about that, and it kind of goes back to the baseball card thing. I was talking to Mike Laro off camera, and I told him the other day I happened on a set of 2025 Syracuse Mets cards from 2025, the team set. And they give them out as these promotional items. Every minor league team does this every year. It doesn't matter what level it is. And I highly recommend, if you get able to get this promotion when they do it, get it. And then put these cards aside, because you never know who you're going to find in there and who they might be. Well, Nolan McLean was part of the 2025 Syracuse Mets set that I had. And so this morning, just out of a whim, I put it up on eBay for $20. The thing didn't last an hour before somebody bought it for $20. So Nolan McLean, making me money too this morning on eBay. So remember that whole minor league thing. As we get to the card of the night, it's going to reapply. So yeah. Ricky, what's going on? Yes, Ricky. Let's go, Phillies. Right? Ricky. What's up?
Go Phillies.
Yes, indeed, Ricky. Go Phillies. But I got to ask you, man, how so the Mets series. And it's a point that I'm not going to stop beating on until the Phillies show me otherwise. Are you scared of the Mets?
Mm-hmm.
Ricky's scared of the Mets. Okay, are you scared of the Mets, or are you scareder of playoff pressure? Because I think, honestly, it didn't matter who it was. It was a situation where that series was elevated. What was on the line? What was at stake? The Mets had an opportunity to battle their way back into the race. Phillies, could have put them down. They didn't. But there was a playoff vibe around that series. Are you more scared of the Mets, or are you more scared of that playoff vibe pressure that the Phillies seemingly are having some troubles with? Is it the playoff situation that you might be having that you're scared of, or are you just scared of the Mets?
Matt.
So Ricky thinks it's the Mets. Okay. No, I appreciate your honesty, Ricky. Now, in a couple of weeks or about 10 days, the Mets will be coming back down here for 4. Do the Phillies have to sweep the Mets in order to pay back the Mets? I mean, would you be okay with the Phillies taking 3 out of a 4 or splitting, or does it have to be a sweep when they come back down?
3 out of 4.
I think that's an honest. That's a good answer. I think 3 out of 4 would be very good.
3
Yeah.
out of.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Ricky. As always, brother, it's great talking with you. We'll talk again next week when we come back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ricky. Have a good holiday weekend, man. All right. So Ricky Deal says it's not the playoffs that scare him; it's the Mets, and I don't know. I disagree, but we'll see. Hello, Joe.
How are you?
So, Joe, how many of these games did you go to? All 3 of the Mets games?
I went to 2 out of 3.
And did you go to the game tonight?
Yes.
I mean, what do you just do? Spend your time touring around baseball parks, man? I mean, I'm not hating on it. I'm actually pretty jealous of that.
Can we talk about statistics tonight? They hit a
Sure.
cycle as a team.
What's that?
They hit a cycle as a team.
Yeah. What, tonight?
Yes.
So what do you mean? Like everybody had a double,
hit
single,
starting
triple,
line,
that kind of thing?
except Wilson, but everybody had a
Right.
hit.
And Wilson came in late. What do you want?
And an injury scare Harper now.
What was that?
Did you see when he caught it and he did a tumble?
I did.
They're saying that they took him out because of injury scare.
Well, obviously, you don't want to see that. Not at this point of the season. Obviously, we got to keep everybody upright offensively. We need them all offensively. I mean,
so talking to a beat writer.
Yeah, what did they say?
That the Mets are in the Phillies' minds. Like, they can't beat them in New York. The awful pitching. He tried to blame the umpire, which it wasn't. It was Rob Thompson mismanaging the bullpen.
Are you mentioning the Orion Kirkering in the 5th inning back there in the first game?
Yeah.
And or that was the second game, wasn't that? Kirkering in the second game in the 5th inning? They brought him out there.
Yeah.
When it was still 5. It was still what, 2-2 or 3-2 at the time or something like that.
It was 3-2.
It was 3-2. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
Luzardo could be suspended
for his comments.
Yes, I seen that. I see Mickey. Hi, Mickey. I don't know, but Ricky's afraid of the Mets. I'm afraid of the whole postseason.
Yeah, Joe, I got to side with you. It's as I said when I kind of opened the show. It's not okay. I'm having a hard time buying into the whole. I think I went off on a rant last night about the voodoo stuff, and don't give me that. You're a Major League Baseball team, 4th highest payroll in Major League Baseball. You have World Series aspirations. You should not be scared to play anywhere. And don't give me this. I don't buy that they're in their heads. I really don't.
If this team can click like they did tonight, they're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
Nola. All right. I don't know if you saw the first when they announced Kepler got booed like crazy when they announced the starting lineups. So did Marsh.
Well, I know I heard they were going after Nola pretty hard in the top of the first. Nola was terrible in the top of the first. I thought this was going to be a blowout. I thought the Phillies were getting blown out. I was like, are you kidding me? Nola did not look good in that first inning. He looked terrible. And the Braves helped the Phillies out. They should have challenged that play up the plate. He was safe.
He was out. I was talking
safe.
Oh, tie.
Tie doesn't go to the runner. There's no such thing as a tie. No such thing.
You can argue with that. I'll give you that.
No, there's no such thing. There is no such thing as a tie. Now, the only thing, and the reason why the Braves did not challenge it, because there's probably wasn't indisputable evidence to overturn.
It wasn't clear evidence.
Yeah. But there is no more ties.
You're talking about the Painter looked good apparently.
Who?
Painter pitched today too.
Yes, I'm going to go back and watch that. I did not get a chance to watch it this tonight, but that's also the big story coming out of the weekend is or not the weekend, during the week, the Nolan McLean, coming up out of nowhere in the minor leagues. And why can't we get any of our people to come up? Again, last night I fended off a lot of people who were up in arms about how Andrew Painter somehow would save our season.
I totally agree with you. I don't think he's ready.
No, unless he can hit, if he's got some sort of mastery with the bat, then yes, bring him here. But I need an
shortstop in college. I don't know. That was your
hit, Joe. No, I'm being funny. He can't hit. That's the point. Listen, Andrew Painter's day is coming. He will be a fixture in the rotation.
We need a Brett Myers.
Yeah, I ain't kidding, man. We need somebody like that, or Joe Blanton.
But I also want to touch on another topic.
Sure.
The Eagles safety help.
Mm-hmm. Marcus Epps. Marcus Epps.
He won a Super Bowl, not last year when they first won it.
Right.
What do you think about that move?
So funny. I'm very up in arms about the whole handling of the offseason when it came to getting rid of some key players on defense. And right now, I know everyone's sort of, the homers it's going to get worse as we get closer now that we're 1 week away. But I think Howie knew he was taking a chance with relying on some draft picks that had not stepped up in the past to all of a sudden take a step this summer and earn the starting jobs. And with some of the lower level free agent signings that he made, I think, again, he was rolling the dice. He had to save money. The bottom line is he couldn't afford to keep Darius Slay here. He couldn't keep CJGJ here anymore. He had to save money. So there was a certain, he was like, now he's trying to, he knew he would have to go back through and try to fix this. And now that we've gone through final cutdowns, there's a slew of free agents floating around out there. He can go ahead and try to mix and match. The secondary is going to be a problem for this football team all season long. I don't see anybody stepping up and taking over that CB2 job. Who's that? Who?
Cooper gone.
Can't get him out of the slot, Joe. Who you putting in the slot? Epps?
Yes.
Keely Ringo? Who we putting out there? Sidney Brown? Who's the slot guy?
Epps.
You gonna put Epps in the slot?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, listen, it might happen, and it might be something that they have to do. I'm not saying Cooper DeJean won't find himself on the outside by the end of this season. I ain't saying that.
Could play.
Does he still play for the Eagles?
Yes.
Does he really? I haven't heard his name. I haven't heard his name in a long time. I didn't even know Britton Covey was playing for the Rams. When did we lose him?
Wait. Breaking news. He's back with the Eagles.
Britton Covey's back with the Eagles.
We're number 85, yes.
So the Rams cut him, and he's back with the Eagles.
So the Eagles are the last ones to choose from waivers, apparently.
Yeah, they were 30. They're at 32.
Yeah, he chose that. And the other guy that they cut, Smith, is on the practice.
Smith.
He's on the practice squad.
I thought he landed in Carolina. On their practice squad.
There's another Smith then.
I'm trying to think.
And Kyle McCord went to the practice squad, as everybody thought.
Yep. They only lost one player that they cut, and that was, I think, Nia Smith. He was the only one, I think. Maybe I heard that wrong, but they did retain everybody else that they cut. Those types of players. But I don't know, Joe. We got a week before we got to get to the Eagles. The Phillies heating up. College football getting ready to kick off. Joe Hale's doing his tour around Major League Baseball stadiums. Are you going to any more games this weekend?
I want to. Nah, I'm actually going to go to wrestling. One of my buddies.
Okay. So you're not going to try to take a game? Don't forget, Sunday night's prime time, man, ESPN.
I can't. It's my nephew's birthday.
Yeah, but it's 7 o'clock, man. You could break away and go to the game.
I'll be in Mel.
I mean, it's Monday. Days off the next day. You don't have to get up.
Wait, I work for Wawa, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay, they'll give you. Yeah, they're open on Labor Day.
Can I shout out Mike Laura? He shouted me out on.
Absolutely, 100%.
You and the rest of the crew. I couldn't even tune into Attacking Third. I felt bad, but I love you guys. You guys are like family.
Well, thank you, Joe. We feel the same way.
So, and can we talk one more topic?
Sure, real quick, Joe.
Philly sports.
Philly sports. What? Ah, Joe, you there? Where'd you go, Joe?
Yeah.
I can hear you. What's up? Now, I can't see you, but I can hear you. So what were you saying?
Go back. I love how you do the Philly sports stuff.
Oh, the day in Philly sports history?
Yeah. And we need 2 cards Monday.
I got the final Monday. I don't know if I got no, I don't have the final Monday. All right, we'll do 2 cards Monday. I had the final on Sunday, so there will be no final word on Sunday night. I had the Titans final.
Yeah, because you owe us 2 cards, and I love that.
All right, Joe. I promise I will give you 2 cards on Monday. Listen, Joe, you have a good weekend, and keep on contributing and tuning in. We appreciate it, man.
Gotcha.
All right, Joe Hale there. That's good stuff, man. Thank you, Joe, for the kind words. He loves us. Man, no one ever tells me that. Oh, man. All right. So Joe Hale, Ricky Deal chimed in. Anybody else? The phone lines are open. I'll put them out again. Here's the link if you want to come in. Remember, you can only come in once a night. So, a la WIP or the Fanatic style, you can only do it once a show, but they're out there. So pop in if you like. We'll cut it up. We'll talk, have some fun. It is a staple of the final word. We're going to open the phone lines just about every night. Joe Hale has to remind me early in the show, so I remember to do it. Sometimes I get sidetracked because I have so much going on inside my brain. But yeah, listen, to kind of put a bow around the Phillies and this situation. You know that whenever there's an opportunity for me to be critical, I'm going to take it because, well, gee, the last time I checked, that's what one of the birthrights of being a Philadelphia sports fan was, to be critical. God knows that's what it was taught to me when I was a kid. So the criticalness, the criticality, whatever, the critical nature of what happened this week, to me, has resonated deeper than the games. And I said this to Ricky. I said this to a lot of people. I've tweeted it out. I put shorts on about it. I've done, everything that I can to really project my concern that the Phillies, to me, it doesn't matter. First of all, I am never going to fall on the sword of, well, they just can't play at Oracle or Citi Field. Oh, well, let's move on. Nothing to see here. I'm never going to say that. Because if you're a champion, and if you want to be a champion, you play wherever they tell you to play, and you win where they tell you to play. And I don't buy what the Phillies beat reporters said, or what people might be thinking that the Mets are in the Phillies' heads. I don't buy that. These are professional athletes who get paid a lot of money and have been playing this game for the better part of their entire lives. I don't know if there's a scenario that they have not been through. And this, to me, is nothing more than just them not rising to an occasion that the other team rose to. And I said this on one of the shorts. Hats off to the Mets organization, the fans, Citi Field. They all showed everybody, not just the Phillies, but all of Major League Baseball, and we used to be the ones doing this stuff, the power of that energy. They brought a playoff series to Citi Field in late August. The Phillies walked in there thinking it was May 3rd, and it was just another game. And as I said on one of my shorts, the Phillies paid the ultimate consequence, and they got swept. And now we got a race. Now, thankfully, tonight with the win and the Mets loss, it's back up to 5. But it could be up to 11 or 10 or 9 at a worst case scenario. But, so as we move deeper into this and we get to that magical point of October, because once again, I 100% believe they're making the playoffs in some capacity. I don't know if it's going to be the division. They're getting in. What team are we going to see step out on the field in October? Is it the team that turtled up in New York? The team that turtled up in New York last year? The team that turtled up on Citizen Bank Park turf against the Diamondbacks in 23, or the team that turtled up against the Astros in Houston in 22? Which one of those teams are we getting? If you're asking me, and if you want me to tell you which one I want, it's probably the 2022 team because they went pretty far. That's my concern. And, you know, the Homer stuff, the red sunglasses, the power of positivity, and all that nonsense will never take away what your eyes tell you. And they haven't done enough to change the DNA of this team for me. They have not done enough to get me to think, oh, yes, this year will be different, because I can't cite reasons why I think that, because it's the same team. Positive way to get the series going against the Braves. They got to put the pedal to the metal. Ricky says 3 or 4. No, he says 3 or 4 against the Mets. I say a series sweep against the Braves. Nothing short of a series sweep. The Braves are already in the offseason mentally. Let's put them there completely. Let's take them seriously, but just roll over them because they're there to be rolled over. Next week, they go to Milwaukee. Interesting series. And I think they're home against Kansas City, I think. And then the Mets. So here we go. How's Joe? Oh, how's Pat? I heard he was live on TikTok. Yeah, so Pat's doing live stuff, but he's going live on TikTok on his phone. Pat's still dealing with computer issues at his house, and I don't know when he's coming back. And this is complete transparency here too. Pat pulled himself off the air. I did not pull himself. I did not do that. I was getting a little concerned about the internet connectivity. I ain't gonna lie, but I wasn't going to pull him. But Pat had enough respect for this network and for you, the fans, and me, to pull himself off the air until he could fix his computer problems. And you got to give Pat, that's a character move. And I know Pat's jonesing, man. He wants to get back on. And I know, and whenever he's ready, just say the word, Pat, and you're back. You know that. But no, we're just waiting patiently. We were hoping to get him back by tomorrow night, but it looks like that's not going to happen. Maybe Sunday, maybe sometime next week when it really matters as we get into September. Good God, man. Summer's over. Baseball's coming down the home stretch. Football's starting. Hockey's right around the corner from that. What's next, God damn it? Christmas? Stop the world. I want to get off. All right. Can we go back to June? Can we go back to opening day? Can we do that? Can we go back to opening day without any knowledge of how any of this stuff's played out and just go through it again? Because I don't want the baseball season to end. This team rips your heart out in New York, comes home and explodes. Who are they? That's the $1 million question, Star Wars. I don't know. If you have any insight to that, I'm all ears. I don't know who they are. I can tell you what I see, and I tell you that all the time. I see a team that's just an imbalanced lineup, and an undisciplined lineup. That's what I see. And 19 runs against the Braves is great. Outstanding. 4 home runs by Schwarber, 17 home runs. 17, not 17, but 17 home runs. There was a pretty good balance of run distribution. 12 runs by the homer, 7 runs by the non-homer. I like that. They were batting, I think, .465 tonight with runners in scoring position, 6 for 13. Nola, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but got through it. And they beat an inferior opponent, as they should have. But they also should have beat the inferior Mets, which they could not. And that's the big question. Painter 7 strikeouts, 6 runs. Okay, that stinks. Joe, that stinks. Joe had me all excited. Painter had a good outing. 7 strikeouts is pretty good. 6 runs is terrible. That's why Painter's not here. All right. Nolan McLean wasn't surrendering 6 runs a game down in Syracuse. I don't think he was. Play Kepler and Wright more and keep Casti out of the lineup. Yeah, is it just me or Castellanos didn't play tonight? Did I miss something there? Because I don't remember hearing his name. Yep, Castellanos was out of the lineup. Interesting. Nick Castellanos hasn't had these many games off in a season since 2023. Or I think 2022. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Castellanos out of the lineup tonight, and they go off for 19 runs. I don't know, Star Wars. You tell me what you think about that. All right, let's head over now and do our of the night segment. Then I want to talk some Birds football. I want to get into some of that. Of course, the Micah Parsons trade is the big news circulating around. All right, the other night segment here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network brought to you by the Wraparound with Pat Bernard. Usually with Pat Bernard every Friday night at 10:30. I believe Mike Laro is going to jump on again tomorrow night. It's Friday nights 10:30 or immediately following the Fightings final, one or the other. So tomorrow night, Mike Laro will give you his take of the week that was in Philadelphia sports, and then maybe a little snapshot of the week that will be. Big week coming up, man. God, we've arrived. So make sure you're tuned into the Wraparound every Friday night at 10:30, normally starring or featuring Pat Bernard. But this week, Mike Laro will have it again as Pat continues to work through his connectivity problems. And on Saturday at around 6:30, call it what it might be, the Happy Valley Huddle will make its network debut on the It's a Wrap Sports. Mike Laro will be hosting the Happy Valley Huddle, a Penn State football postgame show that will take you around week to week, all the way from now until, as I said, hopefully to the BCS National Championship game sometime in January when Penn State, the number 2 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions, are going to start, which hopefully will be the season. Finally, after so many of these misses. So Mike Laro will get you on Penn State post-game duties all season long. First episode will be on Saturday at around 6:30 Saturday evening, as Penn State will play Nevada on week 1. And then next week, they got Florida International University. And then the week after that, they got the Villanova Wildcats. Whew. Man, oh man, what a way to come out the gates against, I know Nevada's Division I. That's where Carson Strong went. You guys remember Carson Strong? I love that guy, man. I love that quarterback. I don't know what FUI is. I don't know if they're Division I, and I sure as hell know Nova's not Division I. I think they're Division III when it comes to football. So I mean, they're really stacking the gate for Penn State to run up some odd scores. I think I saw this earlier in the week. I think it's the spreads like 50 points. I think it's a 50-point spread, Nevada Penn State. So do you take Nevada in the points, or do you take Penn State against the points? I think I'm going to take Nevada in the points in that game. Yeah. But make sure you join Mike Laro every Saturday or post-game Penn State. I think most of their games are going to be on Saturday. So let's get into the other night segment. Again, continuing on with the Flyers, and we'll want to transition right back to the Eagles and then whatever else you guys want to talk about. But we're getting to that point, and I've done the forwards. I've done the goalies. Now, naturally, I got to gravitate over to one of the second most weakest link of this hockey team, which of course is its defensive core. A real head scratcher as a unit for the Flyers defense in 24-25. I think collectively they took a step backwards. I don't think there was much progress with the Blue Liners. There was some real major issues, especially inside of their defensive zone. Flyers were not particularly good inside their zone, and they were really bad giving pucks away, and then neutral zone entries into their zone. They were terrible. Defensemen were trying to start plays, and they were throwing the puck all over the place. Just a real bad effort collectively. But I am going to single some people out for special effort of being bad at 24-25. And we're going to start tonight with, I think, the biggest defensive disappointment of last season. And this is the biggest bright spot for the Flyers' future as well. So he holds a dubious honor. And that's Cam York, man. I am high on Cam York. I still believe in what he will be as an NHLer. But boy, did he have a terrible season last year. Only 66 games. Now, a combination. The reason why he only played 66 games was a combination of injuries and John Tortorella. Cam York and John Tortorella they're not on each other's Christmas card lists, all right? Let's just put it to you that way. The big, which led to John Tortorella's firing in Toronto with those infamous comments, I did not sign up to coach this type of hockey. Well, allegedly, that was on the heels of an incident inside of the Flyer locker room after that game against the Maple Leafs where Cam York and Tortorella got into a shoving match with each other, a shouting and then turned physical. So Cam York was not the head coach's most favorite coveted player. And I think if there's any player on this team that was doing high fives with himself and his teammates the day after John Tortorella got fired, it's Cam York. Because Cam York has the biggest positives of the game with the hiring of Rick Tocchet and the firing of John Tortorella. And I need to see vast improvement from Cam York in 25-26, both offensively and defensively. Just bad technique. Now, I'm not saying that Tortorella's frustration with Cam York was unwarranted. I'm not, because I watched Cam York play all season. He was absolutely terrible. And I can see why the head coach is probably getting frustrated, because he probably has the same expectations for York than everybody else does. York just signed his second RFA deal, so he's got one more restricted deal left with the Flyers before hitting the open market. So still under massive team control for a lot of years to come. I need to see better than 4 goals, 13 assists, 17 points, and a -8. I need to see a lot more from Cam York. And if he continues to struggle, I really believe the defense itself is going to continue to struggle around him. Because Cam York he is the projected number 1 left-handed defenseman to go along with, I guess, another freaking zero, Travis Sanheim. But they are the projected number 1 pair. And I need to see a lot more from Cam York in 25-26. I need a big-time breakout season from Cam York. If he has one, the Flyers are probably going to be winning a lot more hockey games. So tonight's spotlight player is a player that might have had the worst season of any Flyer player, both on and off the ice, and has to have one of the biggest turnarounds this season for this team to be successful. It's not a forward. It's not a center. It's not a goalie. It's Cam York. We need to see what Cam York was brought here to be, was drafted here to be, and I think he still has it. But it's got to start coming out, and it's got to start coming out this season. So there you go. Our Flyer Spotlight Player of the Night, the confusing Cam York. And yeah, I really need to see more from him. I really, really, really do. This team rips your heart out in New York, comes home and explodes. Who are they? Oh, we already did that one. I'm sorry. I already did that one. And then we did this one too. And we did that one. Jose checks it. Jose, I'm sorry to keep you waiting. This is exactly what we needed to do against the stupid Mets. Listen, and I honestly believe, Jose, and I've been kind of on this topic all night. Was it the Mets? Was it Citi Field? Or was it the pressure of what that series turned into? Was it what the Mets fans turned that series into? Because let's look at some of the key contributing factors in the Phillies' meltdown in New York. Chris Sanchez lost his composure after that balk. Lost his composure, melted down, pewtered out. Jesus Luzardo lost his composure after the umpire stuff. Listen, part of being a pitcher in this league is dealing with a bad umpire or dealing with a floating strike zone or a wide strike zone, tight strike zone, whatever. Part of being a pitcher in this league is dealing with that and not coming apart. And was it the stress of the series? Was it the stress that the Mets fans were bringing that aided into the meltdowns of our pitchers? I mean, we really didn't spend much time talking about that aspect of that series. the psychological aspect of what happened to Chris Sanchez and what happened to Jesus Luzardo in those games, regardless of whether or not you agree or disagree with the calls that were being made, the fact that they still melted down cannot happen. They got to hold their composure. And then the Alec Boehm with the damn microphone, a rally cry. Boehm gave them a meme. He gave them a slogan. He gave them a purpose of living for the rest of the season. You got to do better than that. And that's part of the reason why I'm concerned that this team doesn't have it in between the ears to win a World Series. But I agree. Should have done this against the Mets. So, what you going to do, though? I don't know. All right, let me remind everybody, the phone lines are still open, at least for the next couple of minutes, but we're getting right down to the finish line as we are wrapping up another week. I'm going to be off the air. Wow, no shows tomorrow night for me. Man, I have to step away. I won't be back till Saturday when I host the Fightins Final. I'll be here Saturday and Sunday, and here's a good opportunity to give you the Fightins Final schedule this weekend. Big Al, tomorrow night, Mr. Friday night, Mr. City Connect. Big Al will have you, and then I got you Saturday, and I got you Sunday night as well on the ESPN game. 7 o'clock start, and I'll be there right afterwards. So that's the Fightins Final schedule for the rest of the week, and the rest of our weekend, I went through most of it. One last show to talk about that's coming up this weekend. It's one of our best ones, the P&M and the AM program this weekend. Again, probably just with Mike and Al, as Pat is still dealing with some internet problems. The attacking third, which was no, that's not the attacking third. The attacking third, which was seen earlier on this network earlier tonight. Make sure you're tuned in there. And me, of course, the final word, typically Sundays through Thursday at 10 o'clock or after the Fightins Final or after the birds fly by or whatever, or whenever the post game ends of whatever we're watching. And not to mention the birds fly by, we're back for real next week, Thursday night, September 4th. Eagles, Cowboys, week 1. Let's go. Title defense, dynasty time. And we got you covered on the birds flyby. So busy time of the year. We're getting ready for it. And before I go into the card segment, I do want to talk about the Micah Parsons trade. Because I alluded to it a little earlier, and I want to finish my point on it. Again, it's a good thing that Jerry Jones is in the NFC East, because the Cowboys will never be relevant until he somehow leaves. But Micah Parsons today, after a lot of turmoil and trouble in Dallas over the summer, basically whining and bitching his way out of town, has gotten his wish, and he is no longer a Cowboy. He's on his way to Green Bay. And in return, now, again, when I heard this trade in passing, I got really concerned. I'm like, uh-oh. Did the Cowboys did lightning strike twice for Dallas? Did they just pull off another Herschel Walker-like trade? Did they just pull off a trade to send the cornerstone of their defense, a perennial defensive player in this league, who's not even really hit his prime yet, to the Green Bay Packers for a slew of draft picks, a la like the Herschel Walker trade back in the 80s? Did they just put into motion the ability to rebuild their team and their franchise and create another Dallas dynasty? God tell me it didn't happen again. Well, God told me, no, it did not happen again, because the Dallas Cowboys, in my opinion, got fleeced. They got fleeced hardcore, man. I don't know how you get rid of a Micah Parsons for this piddly little package. So let's talk about it. Going to Green Bay is Micah Parsons. Going to Dallas is Kenny Clark, a defensive tackle, the Packers' 2026 first-round pick, and their 2027 first-round pick. That's it. And Micah Parsons signs a 4-year, $188 million contract. So he will play out his 5th year, which is this year, and then he's going to start a contract extension with the Packers next year. So that's it. That's what Micah Parsons cost the Cowboys? Or that's what Micah Parsons, that was the price tag of one of the more premier defensive players in this league? 2 first-round picks? That's it? So again, as long as Jerry Jones is steering the ship in Dallas, and we are officially in Dallas week, as we are literally 7 days away from the start of the season, Dallas week. Boy, that has lost a lot over the years. Micah Parsons is out of the NFC, so he's no longer a problem for us. We're not even going to see him during the regular season. We won't see him again until the playoffs if we happen to face the Packers. So we don't got the Packers on the schedule at all this year. And all it cost Green Bay was 2 first-round draft picks, 1 in 26 and 1 in 27. I don't know. I honestly don't understand. Again, I no love for Howie Roseman here at all. None. No respect either. But boy, I would have to imagine that even Howie on his worst day could maneuver more for a Micah Parsons than 2 first-round draft picks. I was thinking, honestly, a Herschel Walker-like return. You guys remember that trade back in 89? I think it was 88, somewhere in that area, 89. Walker to the Vikings for like 8 combination of 8 first and second round picks spread out over 3 years. And I believe some of the players in those drafted picks were Russell Maryland. Wasn't Michael Irvin one of those picks? I think Emmett might have been one of those picks. That was literally the trade that built the Dallas dynasty of the 90s. And I thought, oh no, did we just see it again? But Jerry Jones is in charge this time. And well, I think he might have been in charge then, but no. I mean, Jerry had all the cards, right? So if Parsons wants to bitch and moan and whatever, then don't play. We'll fine you. You sit, we'll fine you. And as we get closer to the trade deadline, I can drive your price way the hell up. Because I'm getting rid of you because I have to. Because you're gonna walk anyway. I'm not going to get anything for you in free agency. So you will get dealt. But I'm going to make you sit there, and I'm going to drive your price up because I'm going to trade you somewhere week 8, whatever, week 9, and you're going to be fully healthy. You hadn't played all season. I'm going to get at least 5 to 6 first-round draft picks or a package like that for you. I don't care. Why did they have to move him now? Let him sit, let him bitch, let him moan. Who cares? And move him drive the price up for him at the trade deadline and walk away with a huge package for him. But they get a piddly 2 first-round draft picks for Micah Parsons. Absolutely amazing. And again, thank you, Jerry Jones. Thank you for being you. Thank you for steering the Dallas Cowboys right back onto the rocky shoals, man. I appreciate it, dude. I really do. Because without you, life would be tough. I can't go lie. Life would be tough. Well, Micah Parsons is gone. He is now a Packer. And the Cowboys, they got 2 first-round draft picks. Absolutely stunning. Stunning trade. All right, let's get to our card review. All right, MattyB's card review. This is obviously the time of the show. Typically our final segment. Again, phone lines are still open. If you want to jump on, just hit that link, come on the back, we'll talk. But you got about maybe 5 minutes before I'm going to say adios. So card review tonight. I said it in the beginning of the show. Me and Mike Lauro were talking off camera before I went on live. And this was set up before me and Mike were talking. But I was thinking Nolan McClain, of course, the phenom, whatever, pitcher for the New York Mets who pitched so masterfully yesterday against the Phillies, lowering his ERA through 3 starts to 0.89. I was thinking to myself, you know what? I sit on a lot of cards and I get cards from a lot of different places. And I just had remembered that recently, like within the last 3 days, I picked up a sheet of Syracuse Mets baseball cards. Now, from a card collector standpoint, we're going to talk about the value of collecting player cards when they're in the minor leagues tonight. It's a gold mine. Every minor league team and every sport has a promotional gift or promotional item at some point during their season where they give away the team set cards. They do. Everybody does it. All you got to do is the minor league team near you, just look on their promotion giveaways and be present the night they do it. And it could be worth money for you in the long run. So after Nolan McLean had his night against the Flyers last night, I went back through my collection and I went through the Syracuse Mets cards that I had purchased, or not even purchased, they were given to me just a few days ago. And lo and behold, guess what I found? Sitting there staring up at me was a Nolan McLean 2025 Syracuse Mets baseball card. And I grabbed it. I was like, ooh, it's literally in pristine condition because it literally came off of the sheet and it's gone straight into a box. And it's been sitting there for, the majority of time. So I said, in a whim, I went and took that card today and I put it on eBay for $20. The card sold in less than an hour for $20 for Nolan McLean. So that's one good news story. Now, the other minor league baseball card gold mine story that I have revolves around a hockey team, the Syracuse Crunch. Years ago, my stepson got in possession of a bunch of Syracuse Crunch minor league hockey cards. Nikita Kucherov was one of those cards. I sold that card about 2 months ago for $300 on eBay, and it was gone in less than an hour. So whenever if you're looking to get in the card collecting, or if you're just looking to, collect potentially very valuable baseball cards or any sports cards, I shouldn't limit it to baseball. Go find out when a minor league team near you in any sport is having their card giveaway promotion night. Go and grab some of these cards and just put them away and just, check on them from time to time. Now, tonight's card is yet another one of those minor league baseball card finds of mine. And it's about a player that burst onto the scene last year and has been a pain in the ass, especially to the Philadelphia Phillies since he's entered the major leagues. And I speak of Mets third baseman Mark Vientos. And this is his 2022 Syracuse Mets baseball card, a minor league card produced by the Choice Company. It's not Topps, it's not Dunross, it's not Fleer. It's a card company that was, or a distributor that was contracted to create the Mets cards that year. And this is his 2022 Syracuse Mets card. I've looked around on the internet for this card. I found it on not many sites. I found it on eBay. Somebody was selling it for $20. I use Market Movers, which is a really good reputable site. They don't even have it listed in their database. So it's a rare card in that aspect. It's not shown up yet on many people's radar. But this is another example of one of these cards that could have substantial net worth in the next 5 or 10 years or 20 years, depending on how his career goes. Now, it's just like with anything with cards, though. It's a stock market type situation. You try to buy low and sell high. Just like the fact that I sold a Nolan McLean card today for $20. Now, Nolan McLean could turn out to be the next Cy Young. And I could have just let a potentially $1 million baseball card walk out the door for $20. Or Nolan McLean could be a sub to average baseball pitcher with an injury-ridden career whose baseball card never sees anything more than $2. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a give and take. I decided to see if it would work, and it worked. Same thing with Kucherov. Kucherov is a Hall of Fame hockey player. I mean, he's one of the best goal scorers that's ever played this game. And I moved his minor league card back from like 2014 for like $300. And I'm sure later on, 10, 15 years from now, that card's probably going to be about upwards to a couple $100,000 card because he's going to go in the Hall of Fame. Again, it's a give and take type situation. But tonight's card is Mark Vientos. And I did this to kind of show the value of all ways that you can acquire these cards. That doesn't have to come from a pack, doesn't have to come from Topps, doesn't have to come from Fleer, Dunross, Stadium, any of those reputable brands. They can come from any place. And the minor leagues are a great source to find potential gold mine baseball, football, basketball, soccer, hockey cards of the future. So be on the lookout for these cards as you maneuver your life through your sports card world. So there you go. The Mark Vientos card from 2022. And here it is in its physical form. Again, pretty slick card. It's no frills. It's made by choice. There's not much design effort into this thing, but it's, of course, what it means. He's a minor league player. This card could be worth a lot of money, or it could be worth nothing. But I just wanted to kind of go a route of saying that sports cards come to you many different ways. And there's Matty B's card review. Minor league baseball cards, Mark Vientos, 2022. Who is my favorite card? Who is my favorite card player that you have? I don't know. Are you asking like nostalgic, sentimental, or financial? I mean, I'm sitting on probably, I mean, it's hard. It's really tough for me to answer that question. I don't know. I don't know, Joe. I've never actually really given that much thought. I'll think about that. I'll have an answer for you next week. But again, it comes in many different forms. Are you talking about like what's my favorite card because I know I'm going to get $1,000 million for, or what's my favorite card because it just means that much to me? I don't know. I'd have to think of that. I have so many, man. So many. So I owe you an answer. But folks, that's going to wrap me up for the week and the night. That's it. I will be back on Saturday for the Fightins final as well as Sunday for the Fightins final. So there will be no final word on Sunday night because I have primetime Fightins final duty on Sunday night as the Phillies will be featured on the ESPN game against the Braves on Sunday. So make sure you have that programming note in your phones that I will not be doing the final word on Sunday. We will be back on Monday for the final word. So I hope you guys, and I wish you guys a great both. Okay, well, I'll have that answer for you on Monday. I promise. I wish you guys a great weekend, a great Labor Day weekend. Enjoy it. The last official, or I guess unofficial, weekend of the summer. Where have you gone? Where have you gone? Life moves too damn fast, man. Last unofficial weekend of the summer. School, I know in a lot of places in Delaware Valley are back in session. Schools around the country will all be back in session next week. And it's over. It's over. So I hope you enjoyed your summer. I worked. But we have the fall to look forward to. That's the best time of the year, to be honest with you. And I can't wait for the wild ride that the fall will bring. So you guys have a great rest of your night. Have it even better tomorrow. Enjoy your holiday weekend. Happy Labor Day, everybody. And we'll talk again. I'll see you again on Saturday. Take care.